Very.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Sailor.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. I am glad to see you, although you look like you're in the dark.
It's because this window is like making me look dark, but I actually can't even, for some reason, I cannot see the screen. Like, I can't see you,
You
but I
can't
don't
see
know.
me?
No, I can't see you or me. It's like,
Uh,
it's black.
okay. Well, I don't know. Now I've got my camera on and it's working, so I don't know what the dealio is with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on. My camera's on. My microphone's on. Um,
but I don't know.
I don't
It's,
either.
it's
I
probably my computer, but I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay. Well, we won't worry about it. Can
Okay.
you see my screen? Would you be able to see my screen if I share it with you?
You can try. Right now, everything is like just black, and then I
Black.
see your name and my name.
Okay. Okay. Well,
But
let me just do this. I'm what I wanted to do today is go over the end of the semester units because you have completed everything up until the end. I went in there this morning. There were some things that had been checked that had not shown up on the your grade book, so I've got all that showing now. And there were just some epic. You did some epic work for me. In fact, there was one of them the on the curriculums that you researched. That document, I've even asked for your permission to share that with others.
yeah, sure.
Um, I would like to use that, next year to show people how to do it. It was excellently done. So I want to share it out with your permission, of course.
Oh
And
yeah.
so that's good. And then the next thing I wanted to do was just kind of focus on the end of the semester units. And you'll be writing two lesson plans, one for pre-K and one for kinder. And it is a view of the whole week, Monday through Friday, all day long. So there are templates available now in that week. I believe it is. Hold on just a minute. Let me see if I can come up here and find it. Um, it's in the module. I'm going to pull that up right quick, like over here. You can't see it, but I'm going to pull it up to look to see what you can see when you get there. 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Okay, let's see, 8, and this is 19, 11. Okay, so that be at, let's see. I believe I placed the templates in the actual, well, I don't see them there. Maybe I put them somewhere else. I've got to get you the templates to the two lesson plans, is what I'm trying to say. They may
Okay.
be already showing at some other place. And right now I can't put my finger on it, but they are there somewhere. Um, just looking around here, making sure I didn't overlook them.
Already posted, or are you saying you have them and you have to post them?
I'm not sure. I've already posted them, but I believe they're not showing. I mean, I believe they're somewhere right now. I can't put my finger on it, but
Oh wait,
what I'll go
I
back and
see them.
you do see them. You see the templates.
It's oh wait, well I see the ECE 326 final exam, media presentation pre-K, kindergarten media presentation pre-K mini unit assignment,
Yeah,
kindergarten mini unit application.
yeah. I
Is that
don't
it?
think. Yeah, but the problem is, I thought I put them in here. I was doing so much, I probably didn't. What I want to do is I want to go in here on that pre-K mini unit and place the actual template that you will use.
Oh
And I'll,
yes.
yeah, and I'll do the same for the kinder, but it's not there right now. It's not showing. But what
Okay.
I did want to show you, if you'll go to your computer, if you can, I don't know, can you go, since I can't share, well, I can share out, but I don't think you'll be able to see it. Let me try sharing it. Hang on. Let's just see what happens when we share. We're going to share, and I don't want to share that. I want to share this right here. Let's see. I don't know if it'll let me do that. Let me stop the share. Hold on.
Oh, I can see your screen now.
Okay, that's weird. All right, hold on just
That
a
is weird.
That is so weird. I don't know what I've done. I probably
Well, I
hit.
mean, now it's black again, but I can
Hold
see
on.
your.
I'm going to share. Yep, you can see it now, can't you? Okay, hold on. Now, can you see this right here?
I can see that.
Do you see that? This is the kindergarten mini unit lesson plan worksheet.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, there's one for pre-K and there's one for kinder. And what you can do is I'm sharing this out because you will literally go in this document, fill it out, and it will really help you in preparing your lesson plan. Okay.
Okay.
It gives you everything you need to know everything that you need to do to create that lesson plan. All right, I've got one in here for pre-K and I've got one in here for kinder. And you'll turn this in for points. But it's not until like I think the third or fourth week of November that you'll do that.
Okay.
So you have plenty of time. All right. Then the next thing I want to share out, I'm going to stop the share now, and I'm going to share out this particular Nearpod video. And I'm going to go over this with you briefly. And this is really a view. Right? Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is a Nearpod video that I made that kind of explains the rubric so that you know what you're doing. And I'm going to go through this. It is going to be you can sit and listen to it because I've talked about each part. It's on there, it's recorded. Let's say you go back and, I need to review this area. You can use this Nearpod video to do that. But
Okay.
basically, what I did here is I did a color code. I used green as being the highest number of points on the rubric. That's where you want to fall. You're not going to see green on the rubric. I'm just trying to show you the different levels, and I used a color code on this. When you get to the rubric, you'll know. I mean, it's just the regular rubric. The yellow is what we call satisfactory points. That's just kind of in the middle. And of course, the red would be that would be the lowest number of points. That's what you would not want. All right. So the first thing that you need to know going in when you do these two lesson plans, you're going to need to highlight the differentiation. And in both plans, there should be differentiation, but it needs to be specifically shown in your small group work, much like you see that your teacher probably does either in pre-K or kinder. I know you're in pre-K. I'm sure you have some differentiated groups, like there's a group maybe that is not as, wasn't as prepared, and then there's always that group that is prepared. You can look at it like that. You can use ever how many small groups you need. You can use one. I mean, you can use two, or you can use four, or you can use three. It doesn't matter to me, but you do want to highlight that in red. Then when you get down to assessment, and I'm not saying there doesn't have to be an assessment every day. It could be one day a week that you assess. It's really determined as to what you plan, but you want to highlight that in green on your plan.
Okay.
All right. So the first section talks about basically to just make this, it says the overall view of your lesson. Can you see what the teacher candidate is doing, and can you see what the students are doing in the lesson plan? A lot of people mess up with this assignment because because it's at the end of the course and they're just really tired, and they don't give the necessary details to truly see how the lesson would flow. So you need to give enough information. One sentence statements won't cut it. It needs to be something definitely in detail as to how the lesson would flow. And then, of course, you have to think about this, could a sub follow these plans? And some of the plans I've read in the past are so brief that no one could figure it out. So be conscientious of that when you fill them both out. A lot of people look over that. Of course, this is just showing the three different areas. Of course, proficient is where you've maxed it out and you've been very detailed. I've also shared out two lesson plans in this particular week 11. Go in there and look at them because they are outstanding. And you'll see the level of detail I'm talking about. But it's showing in week 11. You can pull that up. And of course, and two, in this particular grading here, you're looking at the developmental appropriateness of what is being planned. If it's all worksheets, we know that's not effective. We know that's not developmentally appropriate. So you would not want your lesson plan to reflect that. You would want it to reflect that you have planned for these children and the age they are, and it is appropriate. So keep that in mind. And that has to do with the overall view of the lesson, and that's in section 1. Section 2, of course, just has to do with standards. And of course, we know that for your pre-K lesson, it's going to be GELS, and then for your kinder, it's going to be the Georgia Performance Standards. And of course, that is easily done. But you do want to make sure you write the standard number as well as write out the standard. Don't just write the number. A lot of people try to do that, and that gets into a problem. And you want to make sure that whatever you're planning is teaching what the standard is saying. So you want to make sure it aligns. Okay. I'm just moving on. You have any questions?
No, ma'am. I'm good.
Okay. And then, of course, you want to look at learning outcomes, and you want to make sure that you are, you're aware of them, that you are articulating, the specific things that they're going to be doing and learning. And I believe on the plan, you need to show your I can, your essential question with each of the lessons you plan. Although I do not think you have to list objectives. It's not mandatory, but you need to have an overall objective there that you know that your students are meeting. And then you have, this is just lesson plan requirements, and it says the standard is written out in the correct form. You have your essential questions, and you have your I can statements listed. Easy peasy. The teaching materials. Now, make sure you list what those teaching materials are for each of those lessons. And if it is required to use like an additional page to do that, that is perfectly acceptable. In other words, those boxes will expand, but you may get to a point where you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I need to take it to an additional page. There's nothing wrong with that. But you do need to list the materials that will be used in the lesson. And there is a mention of technology. However, I've taken that out. So it's not necessarily, this is not a technology lesson plan. If you use technology, that's fine, but it's not a requirement.
You keep saying something about for each lesson. Is it different? I know you said it's a week, so it's different days, but is it like a lesson that connects throughout the week? Whatever that's called, or is it like different little?
Yes. Okay. So I think if I can get you a picture of the actual template, it'll make a little more sense. Okay. But yes, you will have a theme for the week. Now it could be apples, it could be fall, it could be the beginning of school, it could be the ending of school, whatever theme you want to plan around. Definitely you want that theme to showcase just like you do in pre-K and to a certain extent in kinder. And you want that to showcase in each of your lessons. In other words, they might be counting apples or whatever. Yeah. But you want that theme to show through, and you do have to come up with a theme. And I'm going to try to locate this template.
For our lesson plans, so we do our small groups like 30 minutes, and one kid or one group goes to one table for that 30 minutes, and then the next day we rotate. Does that make sense? So for 3 days, we have the same thing on our lesson plan.
That's fine. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. Okay. But that is differentiated, isn't it? In that they're doing, each group is doing different things. That's what the only thing I want to see. I just want to see that, if you have group 1 here, they're doing something different than group 2 that meets their needs is really what it boils down to. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to definitely try to show you this because I feel like you're in the dark here until you really see it. I really thought I had it over here and I didn't. Let's see if it's in week 11 or 12 over here. When you teach 2 different classes, it's hard to keep them separated in a way. Okay, Here we go. All right, so I'm going to stop the share right now on this because I think this will give you a better view. And I'm going to move over here to the kindergarten. This is the pre-K lesson plan. Hey, hold on just a minute. This is the template I'm trying to share with you.
Okay.
Let's see if I can make that small again. And I'm going to share out my screen. Hold on, I don't understand why my screen is black. Okay. I don't understand. It looks a little dark too. It may be just the sheer brightness of it. Hold on. I didn't think about that. You know what? That's what it was over here on my end. Okay. Stop the share. Okay. Can you see that template?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let me move it where I can manage it over here. Can you still see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just making sure. Okay.
Right.
So you've got, this is your pre-K lesson plan template. This is what it looks like. So you're literally planning the whole day. You will have large group opening, small group writing. You're going to have large group language. That's just a whole group lesson, of course. And then you're going to break it into your small group literacy. You'll have large group music and movement. Those all need to be standard related. You will have math manipulative, large group, and then you will also have your oral counting. And then you would break into your small group. You would have story time every day. It would relate to the theme, and you would have a large group closing. The only two centers that I ask that you plan for are dramatic play and blocks. And you would need a gross motor activity every day centering around something that would be gross motor related. And all of that would be reflective of your theme.
Okay.
And this down here, you do not have to fill this out, this bottom row. It's just, this is actually a plan someone used. So it's true blue. It doesn't matter to me, of course, what week you use. That's up to you. That's here and there. But it should have the standards embedded into each lesson. And each of those lessons should have the I can and the essential question at least. Now, I'm going to try to show you one that's already been done so you can get an idea. And all of this is available to you in the, can you see me any better?
No, ma'am. Whenever you share your screen, I can see you and your screen, but I can't see me.
I don't understand.
And then when you stop sharing your screen, it goes back to
black.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, there's no, that is just, no, that's just none. I don't know. It's weird. I just don't understand it. Whatever.
I don't know either. I guess it's my computer.
I don't know.
But it's never done that before, so.
I know. I don't know. It might be mine. All right. Now, I'm going to share with you now. This is a kindergarten lesson plan, but there's also a pre-K one on there. Let's see if I can enlarge it. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So this is the actual lesson plan, but you can see the level of detail that she's gone to, and you can see where it's red. You see that's where she's using her differentiation in her grouping. She's got like, I think 2 or 3 groups, but now this is kindergarten, but there's one for pre-K as well. And then she has all of this filled out, of course, and then she has the counting down, and it's all there. And there's that one. And then there's also one that has, let me stop the share if I can. And you can see it better when you pull it up on your computer. You'll be able to take a good look at it. So I'm going to see if I can pull it up. Guess I'm going to have to start right there. And I'm going to go back into the modules, and I'll try to pull that up for you so you can take a look at it. But I've given you 2 extra lesson plans to look at. And so I encourage you to take a look at that before you dive into this.
The examples for this?
Yes, okay. The examples for this. And this is for, there's one here, if you can see my screen, there's a pre-K, and then this is the kinder. We just looked at that, but now this is what the pre-K lesson plan looks like. Give it a minute to populate. Okay, now what she did, and it's not a bad idea at all, she took that first page and she opened it up big and she put all this in. She put her standards, then she put her ICANS concepts they're going to cover. That was kind of like covering her objectives, if you will. And then she went into the essential questions. Then she did all of her information on her lesson plan itself. Now she did only do this here, which is the standard number. Well, I would have counted off on that, but she made a special effort to list everything up here. So I did not count off on that at all. So that's another way to look at it, how you can do it. People like to do it different ways. But this is not the standard lesson plan that TU uses. I specifically chose lesson plans that were used by actual teachers in this respect because I felt like it was more adapted to what we do. The TU lesson plan is not really adaptive, in my opinion, for pre-K or kinder, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So I added this. So like I said, you've got 2 examples in week 11 that you can actually use and view. Now I'll try to go back and get back into the Nearpod. Here it is. I'm going to share it out. There we go. And so we've been over you definitely want to have a theme. Now, a lot of people ask, can I have the same theme for both lesson plans? Yes, you can. That is perfectly acceptable. No worries there. If you want to do, some people like to do Thanksgiving for both, or Christmas, or whatever the theme is, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, so next is, of course, the differentiation. We know that we want to showcase, or you want to showcase the grouping, especially the small group grouping, how you're going to differentiate. You want to do that there. In other words, you want each group to be doing something different pertaining to their needs and what they need. Most small group learning groups in, pre-K and kinder are designed that way for reading and math. And that would be expected in this plan. Because we all know that the small group is where they learn the most. So we want to, really make sure we're pushing that out. All right, same thing, you want it highlighted in red. All right, and then, of course, each section should be organized. It should be, extremely clear and concise, direct. Teacher facilitation is clearly indicated. Student directions are explained thoroughly, easy to follow plans. Teacher candidate provides detailed information that allows the lesson plan grader to clearly understand both the lesson objective and the students' learning levels. And I know you'll do that. I don't have any worries. And then this is the post-assessment. Again, I'm not saying you have to have an assessment every day. It could be an informal assessment. It could be, of course, we know that pre-K and kinder, a lot of our assessments have to do with one-on-one. That's perfectly fine to make note of that. But it is something that you do need some type of assessment before the week's over. And, I would have at least one assessment in reading and one in math. Now that's another thing we need to talk about. When you do the kindergarten lesson plan, remember that in that area of science or social studies, and it says that on the template, you do not have to do both. You're going to select either science or social studies in that, what is it like pertaining to? For instance, like if you're doing a week on the 5 senses, you might use the science standard. If there is right offhand, I can't recall if there is. It may be in social studies. I'm not sure right now. But you would look for where that standard is, and then your learning would come from either science or social studies. It may be in science. It may be in social studies. I'm not sure. But you don't do both. You either or. It's, you're going to have a week of science or you're going to have a week of social studies. For instance, if you chose to do a week on community helpers, you of course would have these social studies standards each week during that unit time where you're teaching out either science or social studies. You never do both, you just do one or the other. We used to have to do so many weeks of social studies and so many weeks of science. We also had to do so many weeks of health. So, it varied, but it always directed back to an overall unit in a way, or a idea, for if you will. All right, and so I think, let me make sure I didn't skip over one. Yeah, that was the post assessment. Okay, and so the next one is talking about the overall theme and the developmentally appropriate strategies that are used and opportunities for student engagement. Of course, this right here is showing that there's no artifact, there's no activity in the plan that reflects what was provided from the course. Like you've done a lot of different things in here. I mean, we've covered the band. I mean, there's just a band of things that we've covered. You've had experience with the overall lesson planning. You've done the technology plan. You've done the STEM plan. I mean, we've talked about community engagement. We've talked about every aspect of the pre-K and the kinder classroom. And so you want your plan to be filled with the idea or what you have learned from this course. In other words, we would hope that someone would not take the course and just fill up a lesson plan full of worksheets. We know that would be not effective. Here, this is basically the satisfactory level where the grade indicates that the plan provides, some developmentally appropriate learning experiences, but lacks a lot of detail to fully reflect the student voice and engagement. And then, of course, the last area is the most points is where there is overwhelming proof of an artifact or activity in the plan that is reflective and provides the study provided from the study of the course. For instance, I have had people take their what is developmentally appropriate and place that into their lesson plan. Well, that's big evidence that, you learned something here about, providing more of that for your students. And I've seen them place it in the actual lesson plan at the end. So it might be something you've completed or just some fact that you've learned that a certain way to teach children of this age. Much of this you already know because you do this every day. So it's not that hard for you. So this will be available to you starting today. You'll have access. Okay, I've stopped my screen from share as I'm sitting here in the black. But anyway, you will have access to all of this. Now, the other thing I want to go over with you is that on the last meeting date, which we only have 2 more, we have the 22nd we'll meet, and then we'll come back and meet on December the 6th. And that is our last meeting date. And on that day, you will actually, I'm going to share my screen, present your media project for this hold on.
So it's November 22nd and then December 6th.
Yeah, that's it. That's our last meeting dates. And then you will do a media presentation over these 2 mini units. And that's just a way for you to present out to me what you did. You can use any kind of media to record your presentation, whatever you want to use. You can use a PowerPoint, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's your choice. Basically, you're making the presentation, but you're not doing a voiceover because you're literally going to talk me through it when you present it. You're just really doing slides, if you will. And you'll present it to me because it's just you and me in this class. And you can, of course, design it, but you want to make sure that you have in this presentation, you're going to present out the pre-K information and then you'll present out the kinder. In other words, you're not doing 2 different presentations. You're doing one. We're going to combine them. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here are the 4 points that I want to hear about. And we don't really have a time problem in here because it's just you and I. But if you were in a regular class, like this afternoon, I have a class of 15, they have to be more mindful of their time. In other words, they can't sit there and just go on and on and on because we'll run out of time. Not everybody will get to present. For you, it's not an issue. So, first of all, you're going to talk to me about your theme. You're going to provide an explanation why you chose the theme. You would do this for pre-K, and then you would turn right around and do it for kinder. Share your standards. I don't want to know about all 1,000 standards you used. Maybe pick out 2 or 3 that you would like to highlight. Maybe they were the main focus. Maybe a standard from reading, a standard from math, and a standard from social studies or science, or whatever the situation may be. You don't have to tell me about every standard, okay? A lot of people make that mistake. Just a few, just to kind of give an overall view. And also, you can, like I gave this example, some people will screenshot their actual lesson plan and just put that up there, or they'll make a slide with just the specific standards they're going to go over. However you want to do that, it's up to you. Then you're going to tell us what you hope to accomplish throughout this plan. You're not implementing this plan. I'm not asking you to take it to the classroom and implement it. I'm simply asking for you to plan it out, like 5 days that you would have a week at school, what it would look like in pre-K and kinder. Tell us what your overall goal would be. What do you have in mind for those children to accomplish that week? And then the last thing on number 4 is point out something that reflects your knowledge and understanding from this particular class, ECE 326. And you want this section to stand out and really show your reflection on the topics covered in the course. And that is all you have to do for the actual media presentation. It's just 4 points. And really, after that, you have completed, when you complete that media presentation, you pretty much completed the end of the course. In this particular class, in ECE 326, you do not have to write a reflection. When you get into the master's course, you do, but you're not required to do that for this. So there's no reflection. I know you're familiar with that with Dr. Wood. There is no reflection, so that's a good thing. Now, there was one other thing I wanted to share with you, so let me go back to my screen to see. Right now, I cannot think what it was, but I had it on my mind. That is so frustrating. I'm going to go back and share this with you. This is the actual module. Let's go back down here to 111. This is it. Also, I have made it now available to you. The entire rest of the course is showing. The discussion board now is showing. If you look over here in the discussion board, you're going to see that each week is already showing, and I scheduled it to open on November the 9th, which technically that's tomorrow. So if you wanted to work ahead, if you have time to do the video discussion boards, you can. You can work ahead if you want to. Some people like to go ahead and get it completed. That's up to you about doing that. But I just wanted to make it available that everything is showing now. Nothing is hidden. There's really no other assignments due in this class other than the video discussion board and your end of the semester units. I think you have done a beautiful job. I think this has not been and there's the last week right there. But I don't think that this has been in the most wonderful circumstances, being that you've been alone. But I mean, I think you've gotten all the goodie out of the course. I mean, I think it's been executed as well as it could be.
Yes, I think that being alone might have even helped, like having the one-on-one too.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you feel that way, because I have felt like that I have denied you.
No.
But I've tried really hard to give you everything I could in terms of what the course offers. And this is just the beginning of the courses. Of course, you will take, this is not a hard course, is what I'm trying to say. It's really not. It's really just being that you're already in this field and that you're working. You have such a one-up on my students that come to me as true juniors that are just, I mean, I've got kids at TU, and I often say this, but they are so green, they don't know what they're doing because they've never been in a classroom. And your experience is so much richer, and your knowledge is so much more than just a student that is saying, I want to be a teacher, but yet I don't know anything about teaching, and they'll tell you that. And that's
Yeah.
honest. I mean, I understand that, but I just want you to know that your work is exemplary because of your experience in the classroom. I truly
Mhm.
believe that.
Oh,
I
for
hope you
sure.
know that. I hope you know that.
Yes, ma'am.
You
I
should.
definitely
I mean,
I
because
definitely feel like it has helped working
right,
in the
right.
classroom for sure.
Yeah, I think I really honestly, I'll be honest with you, I think it would be great if everybody had to work in the classroom before they became a teacher.
I think that that should be like mandatory.
You know, I do too, because I
Yeah.
just think it's just the grandest thing in the world, and
Yeah.
it's no more better education than what you do every day in that classroom.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
all the theory in the world is not going to help you in that classroom like that day-to-day experience you have. So
Yes.
kudos to you.
Exactly.
Wonderful. So anyway, but I have worried about this because I really hated that it was just one-on-one. But then again,
Mhm.
you did get some extra, hopefully, from it, and I'm glad
Yes.
that you said that. That makes me feel better.
Yes, ma'am.
And I did not want you to feel like I was putting you off, but I had to go out of town. We went to Michigan, and that was another week out, but I don't think you suffered from it. You probably enjoyed it.
No, it was fun. When you said early Christmas present, I was like, thank goodness. I need this.
Well, I'm glad, but I did have to be out of town, but we will meet on the 22nd. I'm not gonna say, Sailor, we're gonna meet for long. And I'm gonna say, if it's okay with you, we'll meet at 9.
That's fine with me.
All right, I'm gonna put that down because we're not gonna stay on here that long. There's no need. You're about finished with it, and at that point, I don't know how far along you'll be with your planning, but we can just let me say this. When we come together on the 22nd, if there is anything that you have come upon that you don't understand or you need clarification on, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to let you ask the questions that need to be asked.
Okay.
You're going to have access to all this information. You can go in, check it out, view it, and then you can come back and ask me a question if you need to. Questions,
Okay.
about these 3 major assignments as we're coming towards the end.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to make myself a note to make sure you have the templates for the lesson plans. It was just my fault. I just failed to put them in there, I guess, unless I can find them once we get off air. But anyway, that is a synopsis of the remaining. One. I knew there was something else I need to tell you. Now, I don't know. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't know if I've mentioned this. I know I might have mentioned it at the very beginning, but let's go over this again. You've been taking Dr. Wood's class, I think, or someone. Who do you have for
Yes.
605?
Uh, I don't have a 605, I believe.
Okay, you've already had that course.
I
Have
had
you?
I've been taking Dr. Woods for 470.
What is
But it was
that?
I think it was a 470. Hold on one second.
Okay. All right. Look,
And
let
it
me.
was a mini master.
Okay,
So it's over now.
let me ask you this. This course here, ECE 326, usually students will be taking Dr. Wood's 605, which is that foundations course where you do nothing but lesson plans and teaching in the classroom.
Yes, yes, I
Okay.
did that one already.
Okay, great. Okay, this is what I want you to do because I do not want you to have to do something harder than you need to. Usually, when this course is given, they're taking that course too. So the courses complement each other. With that being said, is there any way you could go back and find a lesson plan on pre-K or kinder that you did for her in 605?
Probably, yes, ma'am.
All right. That's all you're going to do is take that plan and you're going to, where it says pre-K or kindergarten teaching activity lesson plan, you're going to upload it here.
Okay.
Okay. And then you're going to go back and look, and I don't even know if this is possible at this point. I may have to amend this, but you're supposed to take the actual lesson that you taught in the classroom, that actual lesson that from that lesson plan that you taught for her. You're supposed to upload it here under Go React. So this is what I want you to do for me. I want you to go back and, number one, see if you can find either a pre-K or kindergarten lesson plan you did for her for that class. Then,
okay, if I
yeah,
can't find one, is there a template?
Okay, I don't want you, this is what I want you to do. If you can't find it, I want you to let me know, because if you can't find it, I'm going to remove this. Because I don't want you planning another lesson plan, not this late in the day. No, no, no. And then I want you to go in and see if you can find that lesson that lesson plan comes from, and see if we can't upload it to Go React. So what I want you to do is go look for the lesson plan and the teaching video that matches. This was done in EDU, not EDU. I believe it's, I'm not sure what the 3 prefixes are, but it's, I know it's 605. Is it 605 or is it something else? It's not 605.
I don't know, but I have it right here.
Okay. I cannot think of what. It's not 605. Maybe it is 605. See, I grade for her, so I know all about it, but I don't know. I don't grade her undergraduates. So, see, that's not the undergraduate.
EDU 316.
That's it. That's it, sweetie. That's it. 316. If you can find the teaching video and the lesson plan, it can either be on pre-K or kinder. And if you can find those two things, we're going to use those in this class.
All right.
And then
also
you let me.
Question.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I think my Wi-Fi is like getting not good.
Wonky. Mm-hmm.
But because it's like yeah. But anyways, I meant to email you about this. I cannot find. I know it's in the module somewhere, but the access to anthropology so that I can enter. Get down. So I can enter my hours.
Okay, let me tell you why. I don't think. Well, now wait. Let's see. Let's go back here. Let's see. Okay, you can still see my page, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hold on just a minute. Let's see where that is. Where did she put it? And did she put it in here? I don't know if she did. I don't believe she did. I don't understand that. Okay, so I do not think, for whatever reason, like, did you fill out a form for Dr. Murray in the beginning of the semester?
Yes, ma'am.
For this class?
I don't know if it was for this class or the 440, ECE 440.
Okay, look, I think what you're going to have to do is go into that other class, that 440 or whatever it is, and you're going to get you're going to have to get your access to an anthology through that course.
Okay.
Because there's nowhere in my course that she placed the that link that you would go in and fill out that form. So you must have done it in the other class. So that means in order to create your anthology, you're going to use the 440 or whatever the number is. Go in there, and from there you would create a journal, which is where you're just going to record your hours, and you would put ECE 326 journal, it's probably journal hours, and then you would do it like for 4 times.
Okay.
Now, let me know if that's a problem,
Okay.
because then I'm going to have to reach out to her. But I believe the way it works is you create that journal in whatever class you have access to anthology. Well, in here, you don't have access to anthology. So I imagine what happened when you filled out that form, you probably clicked that you were in the for whatever class and the ECE 326 on that form.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that's what happened. Then you
Yeah.
had the form filled out, then she could give you your placement. So that's where you will use, that's the access is in your other course. But when you go in there, even though you're in that course, you're just going to create that journal for ECE 326. Have
Okay.
you done this before? Have you done the journal hours before?
I have. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
for the 316 class, but
Yes.
it's been a while, so.
Yes. Now, if you run into a situation where you get stuck, let me know because I can send you a video on how to do it.
Okay.
I'll just use a different access, but it won't matter. You're still gonna get to the same place. For instance, let me show you this right quick before we go. What time is it? Oh, we got 20 minutes. Okay, let me see. I don't want you to make you late for your next class. But this is what I want to show you. I'm going to go into my EDU 626 course because I know I have access to it. That's how I get into anthology is what I'm trying to say. The only way you can get into anthology is through a course you are taking. Okay. In other words, if you just typed in anthology and tried to go to the website, you would get nowhere. And a lot of students do that. And then
Yeah.
they just get totally bumfuddled. They don't
Yeah,
know what
that's what
they're
I was
doing.
like, I can't
Yes.
just
Right.
type it in.
Okay. See, for whatever reason, and I think the reason is she didn't put this right here where it says field placement for school employee. You remember filling out something like this?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh. But it was in the other course, wasn't it?
I guess so.
Yeah, yeah. And so when you filled out this form, there was probably an area where you had to mark the classes you were taking, and you probably did it for both. Because
Mhm.
you had no problem getting your like observation area. That was no problem. Okay, so I'm going in here because this is where I have a place to go in to anthology, and I'm going to click here on load the form, and it's going to log me into my anthology. And so here is my anthology, just like your anthology. And I've got that. I don't know. This is something else. I'm not even doing that. I don't know why they've sent me that. Lord, they've sent me things they shouldn't have. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, but you just come over here to menu. Does this ring a bell?
Yes, ma'am.
And I believe you're going to go under work, journals. Boom. Then see, it's got clinical hours for 428, but you are going to probably look for ECE 326. Now, if you don't see EC 326, you just come over here and give it a name like that. ECE 326 on-site observations. I guess it's going to say over here ECE 326. If it doesn't, you're going to click that 4, whatever that 404, whatever it is you're taking. I will send her an email about this to verify too.
Okay.
And then you just start your new journal, and then you do new journal entry. And let's say you go back and say, okay, my first observation was September the 30th. You just put 1 in for 1 hour because you're only going to have 4 of these. And then you just, you can include a supervisor if it's required. I don't know if you'll be required. And then you just click save, because you are not writing anything down about your observation. We've already done that in the discussion board.
Yeah. Okay.
All it is just putting in the numbers.
Yes, ma'am.
You only have to do it 4 times, and that is it. And I'm going to try to get out of here, but that's all you have to do.
Okay.
I'll just have to go in and delete this. Let me see, delete. But hopefully that will give you a little heads up. And I'm going to delete this journal. And then if you are still struggling with that, let me know, because I'll be glad to help you. And
Okay.
I think that's just how they do it. It's according to, she didn't put that form in here. There was only one of you, and so she just left it in the 400 is what it is. So that's
Okay.
why you don't have access to it in 326, or yeah,
Yeah.
326. So that was a lot. We covered a lot of ground.
Yes, we did.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions before I let you go?
No, ma'am. That's all.
Okay. Well, a lot of times, it all sounds good now, but when you get in front of the computer, if you get stuck or need help, just reach out, and I'll be glad to answer your question.
Okay, I will.
All right. So the next time I'll see you will be the week before Thanksgiving. It'll be the 22nd, and that'll
Mhm.
be our next to last meeting. And then our last meeting, I'm so happy to tell you, is the December the 6th.
Okay. Awesome.
And all you're going to do is present out, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
So I'm going to conclude now. I have also taped this. I don't know what good it will do you, but I did try to tape it. And if
Okay.
I recorded it, I'll try to share it with you if you should need it. I don't know. But you have a great rest of your day, okay?
Yes, ma'am. You have a good weekend.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.